El Molo has the most energy of any concert I've ever done because of Mother Nature. This is a dream come true for me. I've been wanting to play that for 20 years. It was the first time I got the nerve to try it. When you're live outside, outdoors, on a cliff overlooking the ocean, about 100 feet up in the air, Mother Nature is a very powerful influence.
It's pretty distracting. It's like 37 mile an hour sustained winds.
Friday night was the first night in my entire career that actually I got rained on. We had to actually stop the show for safety reasons. I could feel this cold air, that the temperature just dropped, and the cold air is hitting from the back, and I know the rain is coming. I thought, okay, it may be a drizzle. I was hoping to be a quick drizzle and let us go. But then the rain got strong and it gets very dangerous.
Sorry, we're gonna have to stop. It's very dangerous. Safety first. Sorry.
Now, you have to understand, what we have on that stage is extremely sensitive acoustic instruments that do not like even a drop of water on them. Consoles, wires, electricity, I mean, this is, water is our biggest enemy.
Probably it's gonna last a few seconds. You wanna get up? Okay.
Went away, the lights come down, everybody covered the equipment. Waited, prayed a lot. The rain stopped. I looked outside and the audience was holding umbrellas. And they were having a party.
Let's try this one again. One from the very beginning. I like this song coming up. There's also a little saying that we have in Greece. The wet man is not afraid of the rain. And it's not fair, you all got umbrellas. Okay, here we go.
My production engineer called and said, okay, it's dangerous, we gotta stop.
It's really bad. I'm looking at Doppler. We're inside something that's going to last another hour and a half, if not two. No guarantee we're going to see it all the time, much like the last hour and a half. Okay, I don't have much choice. What do you want to do here? I mean, the crowd is three-quarter leg gone. Anyhow, what do you want to do? I think we should cancel it. JD for dad, if you could grab things,
It was Russian roulette when we were up there. It rained for 30 days before the concert, and it rained the day after the concert. So we really got one day, a Saturday, out of 4 that we had planned. If we hadn't done it that Saturday night, that show would have not existed. What we didn't realize at the time is that Mother Nature was giving us a gift. It made it difficult for us, seemingly. But the fact that we did have the wind, the rain, the uncertainty of whether we would complete the concert, and just a feeling of getting pushed by Mother Nature, gave us an edge. And you could see it in the musicians, with all their faces, their performances. They knew they got one shot at really finally completing the task, which to me, it was pretty close to impossible. The impossible became possible.
Oh, what you don't hear in the breaks, let me tell you. I just want to let you know. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. He is a self-taught composer, has perfect pitch, as we just learned, and his music is constantly evolving. Yanni is with us live answering your questions. If you have any questions, by the way, just go to yanni.com, and we will try to get them on the air. Yanni has been creating beautiful music for years, since you were 6, you just told us. A self-taught composer, and we just saw a live video behind the scenes at El Morro, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Oh my God! It just depends on which part they showed. it was quite an undertaking.
Yeah, what happened? Apparently there was a lot going on. It wasn't obviously just the concert, but there was high winds.
It was somebody was watching over us. That concert came this close to not happening. It rained for 25 days straight before we even did the show. And we had planned on 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. On Friday night show, about 3/4 into the concert, we had to stop. The rain came, and we're
Dumping
talking.
down, right?
I mean, it wasn't just nice. It was hurricane, force winds. It was the first time in my whole career that anything like this has ever happened. So we
Were
were
you
all
worried
trying.
about your safety of yourself and your crew? And of course your fans.
Of course, at that moment, the last person I'm worried about is me. Is about the fans and people, and you can see I have to stay calm and safety first. And I have some of the best technicians anywhere working with me. So I knew once they said it's off, it was off. There was no question. Once they get in my ears, they know exactly when the danger zone is. And the design of the concert was made brilliantly in anticipation of something like what happened to us on Friday night. If we hadn't done that design of that stage, a lot of bad things could have happened.
Well, we've seen bad things happen. I mean,
Yes.
you know that with collapsing of
Knock on
stages,
wood,
right?
knock on wood, not
Yeah, right
here,
here.
not
This is
here.
much better here. Go ahead. It's okay.
Not here, not here.
But then you played again.
Then Saturday night, it's very interesting. I'm going to finish the story because Saturday night we did it, and then we had Sunday just in case it was raining on Saturday night. And Sunday, we were flying out of Puerto Rico at 6 o'clock, and we looked down, and my manager looked down at El Morro and says, "Look, it's raining." So really, one day out of the whole month, it didn't rain. Because I love Puerto Rico. It's just a beautiful island, and it's a huge island. It's a tropical island. Half of it has a tropical forest. And we are on a cliff asking for trouble. It just so happens that El Morro is the magic spot in Puerto Rico. It's Lover's Lane. Everybody goes there at nights, you know,
Now,
at
do
sunset.
they?
Well, that's what I
That's what you
saw.
hear. Okay.
Well, a couple of times I saw it.
See, that's what I want to
See,
know
you got
more
me
about.
again. Oh,
Yeah, you
man.
get it. It's not for me. It's for all of them.
Sure
I
it
promise
is.
it's not. Okay, I'm gonna get to Michael really quick in Canada. You're getting me all flustered. You just completed recording your new DVD, El Morro, Puerto Rico. How did you choose Puerto Rico as your destination, and what stood out to you about the project? And where are you going to do a concert like this for the whole world next?
Whoa, wow. We have been in, first of all, I loved El Morro. El Morro, the concert itself is magical because of the energy of nature. You know, the wind was still there. There was mist in the air. We were not sure if it was going to rain or not. You could see it in the musicians' faces. The energy of the concert is up. It's the most energetic show we've ever done, and we shot it with like 35 cameras everywhere, and we shot it like a football game, like we went inside. I wanted you to see and feel every instrument and what makes the sound. So it gave it an energy that no other concert I've ever videoed has.
And you only had one day to video this because the rest of the days.
The rest of them were gone.
What would you call that?
I would call it, thank you very much.
Because it didn't just happen. I mean, do you think it was just the energy of everyone there together?
I don't,
Hoping for it?
It's not just hope. It's it's hard for me to talk about things like that because you know there I know my mother and my father are looking over me right now, and I know there's a higher power that is looking over us.
And you recognize that.
Of course I do, and I believe, and I close my eyes, and I surrender, and I see the rain going away. I see a lot of things happening. I don't always succeed, but I mostly succeed. And I think if you don't doubt your creation, it's very likely it will take place. It's doubt that's taking us away. It's just the fear, you know. And I was traumatized on Friday night when we got rained on, because it was the first time in my life I got rained on. I had to get over my own fear for Saturday night. Saturday is a new day. And I have to tell this little story. I remember I was on stage, and I looked out on the front row, and there was a beautiful older lady. I found out later on her name is Joy. And she was there, and she was so happy, and she didn't have an umbrella. And I'm thinking, if the wind comes down and the rain starts coming down, this woman is going to be in real trouble. But just exactly the opposite happened to me. In looking in her eyes, I just kind of went, it's not going to rain. She's here. And I knew it wasn't going to rain. And I knew it. And when I know it in my chest, it's just things happen. And this woman right now has a lifetime pass to any of my concerts.
Joy, I love that. That is so sweet.
Yeah, she can go to any concert of mine anywhere in the world, anytime with a friend.
Now, does she know that? Because
Yes,
you're going to get
yes,
a lot
she
of
does.
Joys online, right? Okay, I just
No,
want
she
to make
knows
sure
that.
we know who Joy is. Okay, number 2, Radio Voyage listener. Zaul from Turkey says, I have heard rumors that you may perform at Sultan Ahmet Square between
Hagia Sophia,
Hagia Sophia
and the Blue Mosque.
and the Blue Mosque for years. Do you have a date to reconnect with your Turkish fans and realize this dream? We are eagerly awaiting for you to come back to Turkey.
Thank you. That would be a magical setting to do it. Between Hagia Sophia, for those who don't know, is kind of like saying the Vatican of the Greek Orthodox Church. The Blue Mosque, it was built right next to it. It's Muslim. And it's absolutely stunningly beautiful creation. Hagia Sophia now has been turned into a museum, but it's been left intact. And it's magical. Now, if I could just go, a Greek boy, in the middle of Istanbul, which used to be Constantinople, Constantinopolis, it was a Greek city. It was the capital of Byzantium. And 400 years ago, with the wars and the lines and the maps and people killing each other, you know, it ended up becoming Istanbul. If I could just go and do a concert right in the middle of Christianity and the Muslims, and also the East and the West, and there's a lot of, you know, there's meaning to that concert. I would love to have something like that happen.
Can you make it happen?
Of course.
Will you make it happen? 2013, you're supposed to be touring. Can it happen that fast?
I am very
Are
humble.
they in talks? What do you think?
I think it was an idea from years and years ago that we abandoned for a few years.
Was it just too much red tape, or just it got?
No. It was actually I was asked. There was not enough time. I was back then. I was getting ready to do the concert in the Forbidden City and then going to the Taj Mahal. Okay, that was enough.
You were a little busy, I understand.
And so this now has resurfaced because I just did the concert in Istanbul, and I realized how many Turkish fans I have. I didn't know that either. Again, the social media.
Yeah, is
is
that what
like,
I was going to ask you? Is it because of the social media that you realize where all your fans are?
Yes, absolutely, with no question. And not only that, but the way they talk to me.
They're like love letters. They really, and from men, from women, I mean, you can tell that you really inspire them and bring them together. You really can.
And I love that. I would never know that from reading an article in a newspaper because I just finished a concert and they wrote a review about my show. How would you know? And then people write letters, but then there were stacks of letters, and and right now it's so quick and so instant, and you can get the idea.
Yeah. Do you remember when you used to have to write back?
Yes, I do.
I mean, I don't remember that at all, but I'm just asking if you do. Okay. We have another question. Jana from Lebanon. I watched an interview with you once, and you mentioned that during concerts, each one of your musicians wear an earpiece that plays the music of a part of the orchestra that they choose
Yes.
to hear. Do you choose to hear the whole orchestra at once? If not, which instruments do you hear? I
That's
like that one.
yeah, that's a
That's
great
from
question.
a musician. It has to be.
It has to be. It's awesome, actually. She quoted me very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very complex concept. And yes, to answer it quickly, I listen to what the audience listens.
To what they hear. So you listen to everything.
I listen to everything to make sure that what my intention is for the music that goes out there. Just in case somebody makes a mistake or I don't like something. I'm very aware, I'm hands-on.
And it seems like, well, to me, that watching you in concert, that you're very aware of your fans. That you see them, you feel them, you know kind of where they are emotionally. I think, because I can see you looking at them. I don't know what it was when I was watching you, but it's like, okay, this person's happy, and you kind of played to that person's. This person might need. I don't know. Is that true?
Yeah, a lot of the time it is. I can't see all of them, obviously, because when you get hit.
Well, of course you can't see all of them.
You see as many as you can in the front row, and it's so important that I see people's faces, because I really want to relate to them. I really want to, just connect with them. And so we try to light up a little bit of the front of the auditorium, so at least I can see a few people, and that's why I play to. Of course, you can hear voices from the balconies and from
Saying, "Will you marry me?" See, I
Right.
told you, he gets that there too.
How about that one time, will you kiss my wife?
Oh,
It was
no.
like,
Who asked that question, by the way?
I don't remember.
But at least you're trying to make a happy wife, happy life. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm kidding. Nadal, Abu Dhabi, when you had your concert in Dubai, did you go to the top of the Burj Khalifa, which is the tallest building in the world? I heard from friends that everyone in the buildings around the Burj Khalifa could actually watch the concert.
Yes.
Did you go?
Yes, but to both. Yes, the stage was built at the base of the Burj Khalifa. It was to the left. The Burj, for those who haven't seen it from up close, is so huge. The bottom part of it is like a city, and it goes up so high. Anyway, the concert was phenomenal, but surrounded with all kinds of apartment buildings. So it was packed with people hanging out their balconies, doing what they were doing, listening in. It was a great show. And then the next day I stayed, and they took me to the observation tower of Burj Khalifa. Now, can I explain something to you? This is really funny. You get up on the observation tower of the Burj Khalifa, and you look down, and you're seeing skyscrapers. And they look like this big. And those are skyscrapers, right? You're in a helicopter up there. And they have the most amazing elevator I have ever been in.
You took the elevator? You didn't walk?
If you,
Just kidding.
you know how long it takes to get from the bottom to the top?
How long?
60 seconds. And you feel nothing. You feel no acceleration and no deceleration. Nothing. You're in, the lights go out, music little plays, and then the doors open, and here you are. You're at the top of the building, and you don't know what happened. I've never had that experience before.
Incredible. Now, do you get scared at all up there, being that high?
Some people get nervous. I don't.
What makes you nervous?
A lot of things make me nervous. I get nervous before I go on stage.
Do you still get nervous?
Oh, yeah. And I love that I get nervous. I love that because it's an energy. It's a great energy.
Has that changed a little bit, though, those nerves? I mean, I can't believe after all these years you would still get a little nervous.
It's part of the deal. It's just because you're out of control when you're doing live concerts. You're not in control. The audience is in control. They can do whatever. You don't know. You're starting to talk to them, and all of a sudden somebody yells, like I said, "Will you kiss my wife?" And you're talking to them about,
You're like-
what are you gonna do now?
Now, do you stop? Do you stop and you say no, or do you bring them into the concert?
I love that. Yeah, most of the time I do. Once in a while, I got to stop them because it's been going on for 10 minutes or so, or they, you know. But I love talking to the audience. I love
So
that
did you
part.
kiss the wife? You never answered
Actually,
that.
that night I did. Yes, I did, and I did.
All right, Anne Marie has a question from Philly.
But it was in front of everyone
okay,
and the
it was
husband.
just a little kiss. That's
it was,
okay. That's
on the
okay.
cheek, on the cheek.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay, are there any rituals you need to perform prior to going on stage in preparation for your performance? That's a good question.
Any? No, I'm easy. I really need isolation. You know, we do the sound check around 4:30, 5 o'clock. If the show is at 8 o'clock, and then everybody goes and eats. I don't. I don't eat until 2, 3 in the morning when we land in the next city. I usually leave that city that night after the concert.
In the States, when you
in the United States,
Right.
yes. Yeah, we fly with our own plane. That's the only way I can make it, is to that many cities. But it's a, you know, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
No, it was what you do before a concert. I'm with
Oh,
you. Don't worry.
it
I'm
was
listening.
like, I just quiet. I just make sure everybody leaves the
Do you
room.
go into solitude a little bit?
I just sit and stay quiet, which I have no problem doing. I've learned that from writing music, and that's extremely important, that you stay quiet so you can hear your inner voice. It takes time.
That's hard for some people. I mean, I can't meditate. In my head in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't even call it meditation because I don't even know what meditation is, because I wouldn't go and study with anyone.
You just do it.
I just do it. I just learned that if you stay long enough, quiet enough, things begin to change. And it started, you know, whatever, 30 years ago, and progressed, and you get better at it. Just like everything else, you just keep doing it, and then you find solutions to problems. It's not just about writing music. It's about things that bother you. It's okay to go sometimes, you know, when people are in pain, they want to do everything to avoid it. They want to go out and get drunk and talk to their friends and do everything. How about if you just went right in the pain? If you go right in it and you feel it with all its strength, it goes away, I think, 10 times as fast, and you find the truth quicker. And if you ask, and if you're not afraid, and you say, I want to know the truth. You just want to know the truth will come to you.
And then after the concert, then you go out with all your friends?
Not all my friends, but whoever happens to be visiting or is there at the time, you know, usually there's a few people that I work with, and we try to get them all together in a room that has a dining room table so we can eat instead of going out, because you can't go out at midnight or 1 o'clock in the
Right.
morning. Restaurants are mostly closed, and some of them would stay open, but it's an inconvenience for the most time.
Okay, I'm just making sure that after all the solitude, you go out and you're having a good time.
I am having a good time. Trust me, I have a good time. I do like drinking wine, and I do love great food. I was spoiled by my mother being a great cook, and because of my travels, I've been very lucky to have tasted some amazing cooking from great chefs. So it's one of my weaknesses. So, I have to work out a
One
lot.
of mine too. Do you work out?
I have to.
Do you run? What do you do?
No, I don't run anymore. I used to swim a lot.
Oh,
But
I remember that. I remember you telling me that. You swam in high school, didn't you?
oh yeah, I swam a lot. But now I just watch it. I get on the treadmill, high degree, you know, low impact kind of stuff. Get aerobic.
Well, yeah, because that's a lot of work being on stage. I mean, it can be exhausting if you're not ready for it.
I do 2 workouts a day. One is the workout in the morning when I get up, and the other workout is when I'm on stage.
That's a long one. Okay, Grace from Thailand. Yanni, thank you for coming to Thailand last year. It was a scary time for the whole country, and we had an amazing concert with you in the midst of the floods. It gave us all inspiration. Thank you. You visit Thailand often. When will you do a huge concert here, maybe at the Grand Palace?
Oh, she heard about that. That was supposed to be a secret.
Is it happening?
No. It was postponed because of the floods, but it will probably happen at some point in the near future.
Well, you're traveling. You start your tour for the States on April 17th, and then in 2013, right, you're doing the world tour.
I don't
You
know-
don't
I
say
don't wa- I don't
no,
wanna know
because I
about
have
this.
plans to go to Australia already, so do not say no. We already made plans.
You've been talking to my manager. If it was up to him, I'd be on tour all for the rest of my life. I actually like it right now. I'm enjoying it very, very much, and I think we're going to continue going around the world. And I'm just happy to be able to come back to the United States, to North America and Canada extensively. And this time around, it's going to be, again, the energy of this concert is picked up from the previous ones.
Why do you think that is?
It's just probably the musicians that I'm working with right now. My attitude towards life may have changed.
Okay, wait.
Here we go.
Wait, your attitude towards life. There was a quote from you about your Truth of Touch, and said it was the greatest time in your life.
Oh, now it's because I'm having a lot of fun. I'm enjoying myself right now.
But why is it the greatest time in your life? Why?
Because I don't feel I have to prove anything to anyone anymore. I am allowed to do things that most people don't get to do once even in a lifetime. There's no end to this planet. There's so many different places I can still go that I've never been. There are concerts I can still do. The thing that I love, my hobby is my job.
What's your hobby?
Music.
That's your job. Isn't that your job?
No, that's not a job. Music is not a job. It's never been a job. It's just fun.
I love that you can say that.
Yeah, I love that I can say that. I'm one of the lucky ones.
And so that's why it's the best time of your life. I mean, is there anything else?
I'm at peace with myself. I kind of like that. There's just things quieted down inside a little bit. And the fact that I'm beginning to realize that I do have an effect out there, that I might have a good positive effect on people out there, is very satisfying. And I have a lot of great friends who love me unconditionally, that I can trust, which is very difficult nowadays to
Yes.
find. So I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to complain about,
Okay, here's something. If you could look back at your 20-year-old self, what would you tell yourself?
My
Your 20-year-old self.
20-year-old self. Man, was I stupid. 20-year-old, I don't want that brain back. I wouldn't mind that body, but I just want to keep this brain.
Right? Okay, you're just stupid. Just know that, okay? This is Paloma from Brazil. What must be in your dressing room to prepare for your shows?
Absolutely nothing. I really...
So you don't ask for like just green and purple M&Ms and
No.
candles? Okay, just curious.
It's very simple. Look, I have a lot of respect for my crew. I have the best crew in the world, and I have the best engineers, audio engineers, lighting engineers in the world. I have a lot of respect. I'm not going to sit there and try walking around pretending I'm something special. I'm one of the crew. I just walk around, get in, sit down in my chair, be quiet, don't interrupt people. Everybody has enormous amount of work to do to put on a concert, and it helps me. It's fine.
Okay. Oh, we got a live question. Hold on. So, okay. Navid, and I hope you answer my question. I'm Navid from Iran. Is it possible to release all the songs in the DVD that you performed at El Morro? By the way, I just wanted to say that 3 years ago, I was in a dreadful situation, a depression. Your songs helped me to change my life. Love you, Yanni.
Oh,
Navid.
oh, that's very sweet. That's very sweet. It's like I mean, what was the one about the question? I get lost in the
Well, no.
the
I mean,
change of
is it possible to release all the songs in the DVD that you performed?
I hope so. I don't even know what the laws in the country are, but I don't think they have anything against my music in Iran. I don't think there's a restriction in the music. Yeah, it is, and I don't know. You know, I hope. I'd love to have it released in Iran.
Speaking of like laws and all that, I'm just going to a different question. They might kill me on it over there, but someone wanted to ask: did people dance to Nikki Nana when you played on Oman? Were they allowed to? Were they allowed to dance? Because there was a major issue, I guess, just to get approval for the music concert, right?
Yeah, they've never had a concert at the university.
Yeah.
We were the first ones. And during the song Nikki Nana, my friend, which I'm not going to say his name just to protect him, he was very powerful, turned to the head of the university and said, because I told the audience at the time, I'm coming back next year, but I didn't have the permission. And he turned around and said, oh, I'm call his name, hi Mohammed. It was like, he just said, can we have him back next year? And the president of the university said, absolutely yes. And they did dance. They did get up and danced. And by the way, I got to say something about Oman. Oman surprised pleasantly all of us. It is one of our favorite countries that we went through during the last leg of the tour. When we got there, it felt peaceful. Mm-hmm. It was beautiful. The beaches, the water, the food, the way the people treated us. It was on one of the top 2 places we've been. And that's just not only me talking. It's
Everyone just loved it.
Everyone.
You know, I was reading about that, but I guess now they're trying to modify the laws as well, right? Because you were there.
Yes, there was a couple of things. One of my camera people, who's been with me for years, I guess, was carrying a camera that was not back then was not allowed in the country. There's a restriction as to the quality of a camera that you could bring in the country that we didn't know. Well, of course, after a couple of hours, they allowed him to bring the camera in. They knew because it was with me and this and that. But they promised when I was leaving that within 2 weeks that law was going to be repealed and all the cameras would be allowed to come into the country. Also, certain musical instruments.
That's what it was.
Which
is huge. Can you believe that there's restrictions on musical instruments?
Well, you know what? When you are approaching a country, you have to approach it with an open mind. You can't just walk in there and say, hey, I want to change everything.
Well, this was about you guys bringing musical instruments into the country. Like they were saying, you can't bring these in, but you can bring this in.
Right. I think. I'm not really...
I
don't know about the law exactly.
Right.
But yes, I know that there were a trombone, maybe the trumpets. I'm not really sure, but I know about the trombone. They had a problem with that. But they allowed it, and they all came out. And another thing that I did when I was there, I went and visited the school for the blind. And that was really touching. That was heartwarming and touching. And everywhere I went, they wanted to show me their culture. They sang and they danced for me, and they had bands playing. And they.
Well, of course they do, because you know, as you know, being around other musicians, they go in, they go out, and they don't even see the country they're in or the people in that country, just the ones that are at the concerts, especially not the ones struggling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't want to miss the countries. There's so many right now in my mind that I wanted to speak. Oman is one that I want to speak very highly of, and the other one was Thailand. Thailand, I've been going to Thailand for many, many years. I have a lot of friends there, and the floods were devastating. And the concert took place a day and a half before the floodwaters went over the wall, the retaining wall. And we didn't know if anybody was going to show up at the concert that night, and it was packed. And it was the ex-prime minister of Thailand was there. His son, who was a very good friend of mine. And then the next day we went, and right on the front line, right where the sandbags were with the governor, and we were filling sandbags, trying to rally the people. Not that they need the Thai people are very. It's the land of 1,000 smiles. Everybody smiles, and it's kapung kap, and it's just sweet. And what a great culture. Should never get lost. I don't want that culture to ever get lost.
Is that one of your greatest memories?
Um,
I'm sure
One,
there's so many.
yes, there are many, and I love Thailand, and I'm always gonna love Thailand. It's just, it's not, people have to understand. There's a difference between huge differences between, let's say, South Korea or Singapore or Bangkok, or, sometimes we tend to lump the whole thing together, but it isn't. There's this subtle differences in all societies, and.
Okay, so then in 2013, Australia and Thailand. Okay, I've got it booked. I just want you to know it's already booked. Okay, this is Marilyn from USA. At this stage in your life, what is the most important thing to you? I could say the most important person, but it says thing. Most important thing.
You know what's really interesting is that I tend to have a problem with what's the most important or the best or the most painful or the most difficult or the most exciting. There's no most. It's in the moment, and it changes, and I cannot answer those questions.
Could you answer what's the most important thing right now?
The most important thing right now is for you and I to do a great interview,
See,
and the
I like
public
that. It's a
to
little bit
enjoy,
about me.
and hopefully you people enjoy what we're doing. That's the most important thing, because again, I am in the moment. You're doing that now. That's the most important thing.
Your fans, when I went online, I mean, they were just waiting for this. I was getting Twitters going, okay, please ask this question, because they were sending them to me, hoping that I would get them and then ask you.
That's why you're getting me in trouble.
That's the married ones, let me tell you. I think those are the ones. But it is. I mean, I was pretty impressed that all of these people were just like, had such a voracious appetite for more of you personally, I think. Like just a little bit.
To find out.
So, yeah, just a little bit more inside. They see you on concert, but they just wanted to find out a little bit about you personally. I think that's where that question comes from. Like, what's the most important thing?
I think I know where it's coming from. I have been, since the beginning of my career, when I started going out with Linda Evans, we got so much press. I had enough of that. 9 years of that just about destroyed me. I almost lost my life on that one, and it gave me an aversion for going out. So I kind of tend to, again, I play and I come home and I tend to stay home, and that keeps me a little more mysterious, I think, to people, even though I'm not. I'm a normal human being. I just have fun. I hang out with my friends.
He's just walking around his house. He's like, hey, do you want anything? Do you need any water? I mean, I'm like, where's Johnny? Oh, yeah, that is Johnny. Oh, yeah, okay.
Exactly. And you have to, and it's good. And you have to be humble. If you start believing your own hype, you think you're more important than anybody else, you lose your life, and it's over.
It was a big time for you when you were dating Linda Evans and everyone was following you, and that was before the Us Weeklies. That was before all of the tabloid shows. I mean, could you imagine being in that situation today? You wouldn't put yourself in that situation today.
No, I hope not. That looks like a nightmare to me. But I think it's also by choice. I think a lot of the people who get in the media actively seek to be in the media. You have to work at it.
And music has really changed since then, too. I mean, what do you think about the way that music is changing, the industry is changing?
Well, the industry has changed, I'm sorry to say, is because they failed to recognize that they're in the entertainment industry, not in the record-selling business. And they made a huge mistake with the internet. and the downloading and all the things that are taking place.
Well, I'm glad because that just means you're on tour more. Just saying.
Yes, okay, just saying, just saying.
Just saying. Okay, this is Jennifer from the USA. I know you like to cook. Ooh, I didn't know that. What particular dish of yours do you think best represents your music? Can't wait to see the show.
What a dish of mine, the dish that I make?
Yeah, you cook? Let's just talk about this for a moment. Hold on, wait. Okay, you cook.
Yes, I do. I used to a lot, not so much anymore.
No, okay, but what
But
do you
again,
like to
I
cook?
don't even know what song. I'm sorry.
What do you like to cook? Because that would be hard. What food describes your music? What food do you like, do you enjoy?
Nowadays, I try to come up with recipes that are edible, that are really tasty, that are not fattening, don't have salt, don't have, they're not heavy. Look at you, you lost interest.
Well, is it good? I mean, I just want to know if it's
That's
good.
the key. That's the key. Is people eat it and they go, "What did you
I
put
mean,
in
no
here?"
salt, no butter, no. I mean, I need all that.
But I can make it taste like there's salt and there's butter and there's
Okay,
all
that's,
stuff.
you just said you would make me dinner. I just want you guys to know. I think that's what he said, right? Did you not just say you would make me some, right?
I guess so.
Okay, I'm just checking. I'm just writing it down. It's on video. Okay, we're gonna go to Greg in Korea. Yanni, I was your concert in Seoul. I was at your concert in Seoul last year. Many people could not get tickets. Will you do more shows here?
In Korea, absolutely. They're just awesome audience. They go crazy in South Korea, in Seoul. Their fans are and they're aggressive too. They're like the South Koreans.
Aggressive in what way? Like
They're, I gotta tell you, first of all, they're called the Italians of the East. They love their music. They love music. But they're also strong. It's a strong culture. As opposed to, let's say, the Thai, which tend to be...
it's a little more subservient, not subservient,
But that doesn't mean weak.
right.
They're
I hear
very
you.
powerful. They work very hard and they're very strong. But the veneer and how they approach everything, it gives you the South Seoul. I hadn't been there for 10 years. It's exploded. It's absolutely beautiful there, and they got new airport. The airlines is exploding. I think it's probably one of the best in the world, or pretty close to Singapore Airlines. It's like I'm watching all these countries just explode, and I'm happy about them. I'm happy about their cultures and what's happening to them.
When you travel and you're on the plane, I'm just curious, do you write music? Do you have a lot of people on the plane? Are you able to write music when you're on the plane? Especially like I would think that after a concert, like something might inspire you.
I can write music anywhere. It doesn't matter. I could be watching a movie and I can just shut out everything I'm looking at and everything I'm hearing and completely go into what I'm creating. It's become that powerful over these years. There was times I remember one particular case when I was doing the Voices tour. Somebody 3-4 days before the tour was going to start, it's like, we need an opening and we need to have all the singers come out one at a time and do little parts so we can introduce them before we even bring them in the concert. And I went, there's no way I can write something like that this quickly. This is crazy. We're sitting outside. It's probably 7, 8 o'clock at night. And I was upset. I was very upset. There's no way. This is crazy. How are we going to rehearse it? Who's going to do it? How are we going to do all this? Well, it ends up being probably the best opening I've ever written in my life. And I wrote it in the next 10 minutes. I was talking to my partner, Rick Wake, who got up to go get a drink from the kitchen or something. And then I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the ocean. And all of a sudden I heard Ender Thomas start the first line. And then he went to this, and he went into a drone, and then he went into the drums, and then, like, I heard it all. It just went one after the other, one after the other. And by the time he came back, it was 10 minutes later, I said, I think I have the opening. It was like that. I got down, I wrote it down real quick on my shorthand, and then we continued with the night. And the next day we got up, went and did it.
Has there ever been a time when you've sat down to write something and nothing came out?
Sure. Very frustrating. Very frustrating.
What do you do then?
That's the learning part. that used to happen to me a lot when I was a kid. That's where the discipline comes in. Because I didn't have a job and I didn't want a job. I wanted to do music. I was absolutely committed to it. So I would say, people go to work 8 hours a day. Good. For 8 hours a day, I'm going to walk into this studio and I'm going to sit on this chair and I have a choice. I can play the piano and the keyboards. I can record, but I will not leave the room. I will not watch TV. I will not read a book. I will just sit. And I think that was the beginning of everything.
You made it a discipline.
Yes. It was like, stay in this room. All of a sudden, the piano kind of started looking okay.
All right, well, I'm kind of bored in here. I guess I can play the piano.
It's a true story, though. It's true. It's exactly how it started.
What advice would you give? There's a lot of musicians out there, and they look up to you, and they want to make it in this industry, and it's saturated. What do you tell them?
It's very difficult. It's you have to have passion. Without passion, you have to. You have to love.
There's nothing without passion.
Exactly. You have to love what you do. If you don't, you're not gonna make it. There's no chance. There's no. It's I can't. I could stay up for days. When I was younger, I would stay up for 3 days in the studio with no food, nothing, and just kind of like maybe drink a little coffee or have a Coca-Cola or whatever I was drinking at the time. And 3 days later, I hadn't slept and I'm still playing because the music is working and I'm so excited, and it's such a uplift. It's such a fulfilling task, It's.
See, that there is something good about the 20s, though.
Oh, yes. You can't do that now.
I'm hearing you. No, you cannot live on Diet Coke and 3 days of no sleep anymore. I know. Can you believe this? We have no more time.
No more time?
Yes. I can't believe
We
it.
did it.
We did it quick, too. I want more. I want more. But just before I go, I know that they might, in the booth, are going to go a little crazy, but what is your greatest, can you add a professional success, do you feel? And not that there's just one, but maybe it's...
One that made a huge difference in my life was the Acropolis concert, for sure. I can't say it was the greatest thing I've ever done, but it definitely put me on the map.
That was it.
But it took 20 years to get there. So, I mean, what is more important? I can go through the history of what it took to get to the Acropolis, and then any moment, any one of these pieces was missing, then you wouldn't have gotten to the Acropolis, and then you wouldn't have had that, and then it goes on. So that's why I have a problem with what is best and what's the greatest,
right,
and what's
exactly.
the most important.
Just something that you remember, that you look back on and say, wow, it was bigger than I even realized.
The Acropolis. Because my mother and father were there, my whole family was there, all my friends were there. It was the first time I ever played in Greece. And so it was home audience, first time. Hi, here's what I've been doing for the last...
And the butterflies before you went on stage had to be just...
Oh my God.
The best though, right?
Yeah. Well, the first 3 minutes, it was more like this. After that, can you believe this? And I look to my right and there's the Parthenon. And it's a magical place. What a magical place.
See? All right. I don't think we can top that. I think we can end right there on that, don't you think?
You're on.
Okay, thanks, obviously, for taking the time, Yanni. Not just for me. I know it wasn't for me, but I'm very happy, but for all your fans. And by the way, all of you out there, if you want more information on the concert dates, on the DVD that gets released on April 17th, on the tour that starts on April 17th, United States tour, and then of course 2013.
Wow.
We're traveling, everyone. You can just go for all that tour information to yanni.com. Thanks everyone. I'm Lauren Sanchez, and thank you, Yanni.
Lauren, thank you so much.
I
You're
had
just
the best
brilliant at
time.
it. We have chemistry. It's great. It's great.
We're going to take you out with a clip of Rain Must Fall. This is from El Morro, right?
El Morro.